You ever have those days, or maybe weeks, where you just feel completely wiped out? Like you are running on absolute fumes and just cannot catch a break. You probably think, yep, this is burnout. Or maybe you've heard that term, adrenal fatigue. Well, what if the real reason you're so exhausted isn't what you've been told? Today, we're going to dig into the actual science. And the answer, well, it just might surprise you. Let's get into it. Okay, so first things first, let's just bust a huge myth right off the bat. This whole idea of adrenal fatigue, it makes it sound like your adrenal glands just got tired and gave up, right? But the science, it really doesn't back that up. Your glands are fine. The real problem is something called HPA dysfunction. Think of it this way. Your glands are the factory working away, but the messages from head office, your brain, are getting scrambled or sent at all the wrong times. So to really get what's going wrong, we have to understand how the system is supposed to work in the first place. So let's take a look inside your brain's command center for all things stress, the HPA axis. Yeah, HPA axis. I know, it sounds super technical, but just imagine it's a top secret group chat for your body's emergency response team. You've got the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland up in the brain. They're like mission control. And then you have the adrenal glands down near your kidneys. They're the team on the ground. And this little network is buzzing 24/7 to manage every single bit of stress you face. And here's how that chain of command actually plays out. It all kicks off the second your brain senses stress. I mean, it could be a work deadline, a difficult conversation, literally anything. So the hypothalamus pings the pituitary. The pituitary then acts like a manager and it alerts the adrenals. The adrenals get the memo and release cortisol, which is that famous stress hormone that gives you the juice to power through. You know, when it's all working right, it's an incredibly smooth operation. But what happens when that stress isn't just a one-off thing? What if it's this constant chronic pressure, day in and day out? Well, that's when the signals in this really elegant system start to get all scrambled. And this, right here, is the absolute key point. Your body isn't running out of cortisol. That's not the problem. The real issue is that its internal clock, its rhythm, is totally broken. The timing of when cortisol gets released is all messed up. It's like a drummer who suddenly forgot how to keep a beat. The whole band just falls apart. And that feeling of chaos, that's what we experience as burnout. So let's look at what a healthy morning should feel like from a biological point of view. This is what's called the cortisol awakening response, or CAR. You can just think of it as your body's own natural alarm clock. See, right when you wake up, your cortisol is pretty low, but about 30 minutes later, it's supposed to surge. That big spike is what gives you the get up and go, the focus to jump out of bed and tackle your day. But when you're under chronic stress, this is what happens instead. You wake up, cortisol's low, and 30 minutes later, it's still low. That morning spike is just gone. It's completely blunted. And that is why you can get a full 8 hours of sleep and still wake up feeling like you've been hit by a bus, barely able to drag yourself out of bed. Your body just never got its energizing wake-up call. And this whole mess isn't just a morning problem. A healthy cortisol pattern should look kind of like a ski slope, right? A big peak in the morning and then a slow, steady decline all day long until it's super low at night, which helps you fall asleep. But when chronic stress flattens that slope out, it becomes a huge red flag for your health. We're talking impacts on your mood, your immune system, you name it. So all of this internal biological chaos, it has a real-world name that I'm pretty sure we're all familiar with, burnout. And it's not just feeling tired. It is the direct result of that scrambled HPA axis we've been talking about. And listen, the World Health Organization is super clear about this. Burnout is not some personal failing. It's not a sign that you're weak. They officially define it as a workplace problem, the result of chronic stress that has not been successfully managed by the system, not by you, the individual. And burnout itself kind of has 3 different flavors. First up, you have that deep core feeling of exhaustion, just total energy depletion. Then cynicism starts to creep in, where you just feel really distant and negative about your job. And finally, there's this feeling of reduced efficacy, where it feels like you're not getting anything done, no matter how hard you work. Sound familiar? And if that does sound familiar, you are really, really not alone. I mean, the scale of this is just mind-blowing. A recent UK report found that 91%, let me say that again, 91% of adults experienced high or even extreme levels of stress in the last year. Let that sink in. This isn't some tiny issue, it's a massive public health crisis. And the long-term cost of all this is serious. This isn't just about feeling tired. This chronic HPA dysfunction, it can weaken your immune system, raise your risk of heart disease, fuel things like depression and anxiety, and even cause physical structural changes in your brain. It's why we absolutely have to take this seriously. Okay, so that was a lot about the problem, but now for the good news. You are not powerless here. There are real science-backed tools you can use to help support and re-regulate your body's stress response. So let's open up the toolkit. First up, it all starts with your fuel. Think of things like whole foods, healthy fats, quality protein. These are the building blocks for your resilience. On the flip side, we now have studies that directly link diets high in ultra-processed foods to HPA axis dysfunction and higher levels of anxiety. Basically, every single meal is a direct message you're sending to your stress command center. All right, next in the toolkit are these amazing botanicals called adaptogens, and ashwagandha is a real rock star. It's been studied like crazy, and clinical trials show it actually helps your body adapt to stress, partly by significantly lowering the amount of cortisol floating around in your system. It's like a thermostat for your stress response. Another huge one is magnesium. So many of us are low in this mineral, and it's absolutely critical for calming your nervous system. Taking a magnesium supplement has been shown to help lower the total amount of cortisol your body makes over a 24-hour period. And it's incredible for improving sleep quality, which, as we know, is everything when it comes to recovery. Now, this one is really cool. It's called non-sleep deep rest, or NSDR. These are basically guided rest protocols that put your body and brain into a state of deep relaxation, but without you actually falling asleep. The research shows this can help fix that cortisol rhythm we talked about, and can even replenish dopamine, leaving you feeling calm but sharp. It's a seriously powerful way to hit the reset button on your brain. So, when you start to put all these pieces together, the message becomes really clear. You actually have the ability to start sending new, better signals to your stress command center. And you can begin that process of recalibrating your entire system. So let's wrap this all up. Here's what you really need to remember. Number 1, forget adrenal fatigue. The real issue is HPA dysfunction happening in your brain. Number 2, it's not about how much cortisol you have, it's all about the rhythm. Number 3, burnout is a systemic issue with very real biological consequences. And maybe most important of all, number 4, you have the power to support and retune this system. At the end of the day, your stress response system is always listening. It's responding to the food you're eating, the rest you're getting, the environment you're in. It's this dynamic system that's constantly adapting. So really, the only question left is, what message are you going to send it today?